could do that when they're basically smoking marijuana. And this thing, it doesn't hurt anybody. Well, maybe it doesn't, but it doesn't help them to excel either. And so that's my message for today. Be very cautious of the drugs you have in your community. They have some very far-reaching effects, and they have some very violent things that you might not think of until you stop and put the pieces together. Anybody have any questions for me?
Question for you.
Yep.
I thought on the bath salt and that type of stuff that it would be abandoned.
All right. As long as there's money to be made, there's going to be somebody that's smart enough to find a way to do it. They call these things analog drugs. Now, when I was in high school, I was not the best student, but I wasn't smoking it. I was just lazy. But one of the things I learned in chemistry course is the teacher, he would have these diagrams of carbons and oxygen and hydrogen things, and it would basically be a picture of the chemical that he was talking about. Well, what these scientists do in these clandestine labs is they take, for example, the chemical composition of THC, marijuana, and they find ways to make a compound that has the same reaction in your body, but yet technically does not meet the schematic diagram of marijuana. And so they were saying, oh, you can't get us, that's not really marijuana. And so we realized that we had to come up with something to address those in-the-gap type chemical substances that have the same deleterious effect as the drugs. And so they started out with they call them analog drugs. And basically what it is if they're substantially similar to a banned drug, then we treat them as analog drugs. We treat them as the common success. But every time you have a victory as to one compound, there's someone in the lab somewhere who's smart and trying to come up with another compound that has the same result. I had a case in Panama City, it's probably still pending, but there was a man down there with 4 stores. One of them is known as Purple Haze. Now, you know, it's not by the bookstore, let me tell you. But they arrested him because he was selling the glass bombs and also bath salts in a separate room, the smoking room they called it. And his defense was, well, they manufactured and sold them, and we gave you this report saying they're all legal. I said, okay, well, if they are bath salts and they're illegal, why are you charging $40 for those honey bags like this? You can't have it both ways. And so we're prosecuting Purple Haze for the analog drugs. It was an emergency about a year ago, right before the legislature convened. We had the spring break coming to Panama City. Our sheriff, who was very proactive in these matters, was going around to all the head shops, gift stores, and checking to see if they had some of these analog drugs. And they were seizing them, but they couldn't shut the place down, and they could just restock the shelves. We went to the Attorney General, and Pam Bondi has the authority under the Florida law to issue an emergency order that makes analog drugs illegal. And she did that as a stopgap until the legislature began to take more appropriate action in the modification of our drug trafficking laws. And so that was how that got back in the news about a year and a half ago before spring break. But you know, if there's a way we make money illegally, somebody will do it. Kind of like our internet cafes, all they got to do is